Buenos Aires became this week the epicenter of a massive rally led by workers, students, human rights organizations and left-wing political parties that demonstrated against the criminalization of social protests in Argentina. One of the most significant demands had to do with the end of judiciary persecution of Workers' Party's leader, Nestor Pitrola, who actively struggled against the abuses of US Corporation Kraft Food. In 2009, it fired 150 workers who had gone on a strike to demand proper health measures at the company's factory in Buenos Aires. Although most of them were finally reincorporated, Pitrola, as well as other workers' defenders, were prosecuted for their leading role in the protests.
Our struggle against US Kraft Food was an emblematic milestone of workers' movement. Even the US Embassy took part in the conflict. They attacked leftist leaders and our values because we were fighting their abusive policies.
Demonstrators rallied from the National Congress to the Plaza de Mayo square, where they called for the release of workers and activists who have been put in prison due to their participation in labor conflicts.
Judiciary persecution of the workers must stop. We're also demanding the freedom of workers who have been imprisoned. We cannot afford to lose the right to protest and freely express ourselves.
Despite criticism from social and political organizations, Argentine President Cristina Fernández has recently reaffirmed the government will never criminalize or repress social protests. Ms. Fernández has followed her late husband and former President Nestor Kirchner's decision to defend people's rights to freedom of expression since he took office in 2003. A practice that had been strongly condemned by political authorities during the 90s. However, former vice presidential candidate Cristian Castillo stated 5,000 social and political activists have been prosecuted in recent years.
The government's speech has no basis in reality. Not only there are 5,000 workers facing persecution, but also the repression of social protests has also led to the killing of activists. It's impossible to claim that social protests are not being repressed.
Organizations' representatives also took their demands to the National Congress, where they addressed the matter during a public hearing organized by the Human Rights Commission of the Lower House. Constanza Heller, Press TV, Buenos Aires.